AM 1460, the new WXBR. Peter Czymbor and Mike Paiva here with you on this Friday morning. It's the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. And this Saturday night at Campanelli Stadium in Brockton, it's the home opener of Brockton Rox Baseball 2013. Always a fun take for the family, or if you just want to hang out with some friends on the weekend.
Yep.
And joining us now to chat about it is the man who will be the field manager for the Brockton Rox for this 2013 season, Jud Thigpen. Jud, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Hey, no problem. Good morning. How you doing?
We're doing well, Jud. Before we talk about the incarnation of the Brockton Rox that will take the field in 2013, let's talk about your background for a little bit, because you actually have a history with the Brockton Rox dating back to when they were a professional organization.
Correct. Actually, I played with the Colorado Rockies for, I believe it was 4 or 5 seasons in their minor league system. And I was released from them, and I found my way in the Can-Am League of the New Jersey Jackals, and I was involved in a trade that sent me to Brockton. And I've always said that Brockton kind of brought my career, my baseball career, back to life. I was about to quit / retire, whatever you want to call it. And I came to Brockton. We were playing in front of a bunch of fans, had a good year. And I was fortunate enough to play for 2 years, and I called my last season was in 2009, and that was the last year that I played the game of baseball, and it was good to end it in Brockton, and I'm glad to be back here coaching.
How did you make the transition from being an on-the-field player to coaching and managing?
Well, last year being my first year as the field manager, it was a pretty tough transition at first, just for the fact that not only was I trying to figure out how to mix and mingle with the guys, but also, I wanted to be out there playing. But I tell you what, we have a good group of just the fact that it's a collegiate league now, and the college kids, they're hungry and they want to play. They make it easy on you, and I think me and Ted and Paul Coach, the other coach that'll be here, we run a pretty loose. We're laid back, but when things get rough, we make sure to stay on them. But we're pretty laid back. But it's been the transition now. This being my second year, I enjoy it. I love the guys. Already 2 workouts in. I feel like we have a great group, and they make it easy on me this year, being at my second year.
Once again, we're chatting with Jud Thigpen, field manager for the Brockton Rox 2013 season, a home opener this Saturday night at Campanelli Stadium. Jud, when you played for the Brockton Rox, they were a professional team. You mentioned now it is a wooden bat, collegiate player-based league. It's the Futures League, if I'm not mistaken. Explain to us exactly what the Futures League is for people who don't know.
Okay, I put it simple. Most people following the game of collegiate summer league baseball have heard of the Cape Cod League. The Cape Cod League is kind of the pinnacle of collegiate baseball league. So we kind of model ourselves after that league. Going from professional baseball to a collegiate league was a big transition, obviously. But the main difference that I see is that professional players get paid, collegiate players they pay to come play here. So it's the talent level. I mean, you'd be very amazed. I think just a casual fan that just came up to a few years ago when they were a professional team. And not a knock against – I mean, I played for the Rox when they were a professional team, but I can go out there and watch a game now with the talent that we're bringing in this league, and I really can't tell the difference in a professional baseball player and a collegiate baseball player. It's that good of baseball that's in this league, and I think that's something that this town should be happy to have and should look forward to coming out and see, because it's very good baseball.
You ever go to any of those amateur games in Cape Cod, Mike, by any chance?
I've been to one. I went to one.
I have to say the quality of baseball is excellent within that league, but one thing that I think probably sets the Brockton Rox apart from them is the facility, because they're literally playing on just fields with some bleachers set up that around here a little league team would play at. Campanelli Stadium is a first-class, excellent facility, and it's got to be a thrill for these young college players to play on.
It's I've seen a few Cape games. Actually, a few guys from Mississippi, my home state, they coach the Wareham. Is that how you say it?
Wareham?
Say it up here.
Wareham is
Wareham,
a place around here.
Wareham. But they actually won the Cape last year.
No one could tell you were from Mississippi before you mentioned it, by the way.
I'm working hard. I'm working hard right now to get my accent better. But
as far as Southern names are concerned, by the way, Jud is where it's at, my friend.
That's it. Thank my mom and dad for that. Thanks, Mom, Dad. But yeah, I went to a couple of Cape games, and you're right. The stadium, here is like, I've already had a few guys say, "Hey, look, no matter what, I want to play here next year if I can. I'm like, buddy, we've only worked out twice. Hopefully you hit. Hopefully you pitch well, so we can bring you back. But other than that, I mean, you're right. I mean, it is the Cape will always be the Cape because it's. I mean, my dad, for goodness sake, in '79 played in the Cape Cod League, and he went on to play for the Tigers for a couple of years in the minors. But that's the pinnacle. But like you said, the stadium, the facilities that we have. I mean, it's AA, AAA style facilities that we have. I mean, locker room, lounge room. It's the players are pretty spoiled here to play here in Brockton. I will say that. So that's why we demand, or not demand. That's a strong word, but that we want them to go out and play hard because the fans deserve to see hard play.
You mentioned this earlier on, just a few minutes ago in this interview, when talking about the Brockton Rox when they were a professional team and now as a wooden bat team consisting of college players, that you really can't even notice the difference in the quality of play. Let me ask this question, and I don't want it to come off as disrespectful. Brockton Rox were part of the Can-Am League, an independent minor league baseball team, and I think that, maybe there's some more levels to this, but there were three kinds of players in that league. There were kids on the way up who maybe get drafted by a major league organization, let go early, still felt they had something left in them. There were journeyman players who just always wanted to be playing professional baseball year in and year out. And then there was a guy maybe like yourself who had been kicking around minor league system for a while and still wanted to have that last run in professional baseball. Is the quality of baseball with the college players maybe even surpassing that of what it was at the independent level, because you actually have guys that are maybe legitimate prospects, where in the independent league you did get some legitimate prospects, but you got a smorgasbord of a whole wild collection of characters and players?
You just nailed it on the head right there. Let me tell you, I was probably all three of those players. When I got released from a professional organization like the Rockies, who you have the big leagues right in front of you. Independent baseball, like you said, it's not a knock, but when I first got released and I went to New Jersey in the Can-Am League, I'll be honest with you, I was this guy kind of down and out. My career's over. What am I doing here? Like, there's nothing really ahead of you. There's nothing above the Jackals to go, or the Rocks to go. And then, then I got back and I was like, look, maybe if I put up some good numbers, then I'll get picked back up. And then at the very end, I was like, look, this is my life. I love it. I love this game. I mean, so it can bring a lot out of you, but the thing about the college league is I think the name, and I think I've said this before, but the name of the league says it all. It's the Futures League, the Futures Collegiate Baseball League. Their future is ahead of them. So they have nothing but they can go nothing but climb up to higher levels. And with you, bringing up that point, they're hungry. Like a guy who gets released from a major league organization and then has to come into like an independent league. Maybe they're not happy, but these college guys, and they're going to be playing in front of great fans and many fans. So, it's something that they will go out every single day. They'll play hard, and they're not getting paid to play. They're actually paying to come here and play. So they're going to lay it on the line every night. It's great.
I always find the Major League Baseball draft the most complicated of drafts to follow in professional sports because it's so long and there's so many levels of Major League Baseball organizations. You really never know who is and who is not going to pan out. In the NFL, you can imagine, most of the time the guy that goes first, all right, he's going to be a stud pretty early on. Baseball, they get sent to single-A rookie ball, this and that. You might not see him in the majors for a few years. I'm sure you went through that process yourself.
My story is crazy. I was actually a 5-year college player, and the draft went all the way through, and so I was being a 5th-year guy. I didn't have to get drafted. They could sign me as a free agent. So 2 days after the draft, I'm sitting around with my phone, just waiting on it to ring, not knowing if it was going to ring. And I have friends that were actually on our team that got drafted that year, and seeing their excitement in their face, it's a crazy. Minor league baseball it's a tough life. Not only as far as just the unknown of like, where am I going to go? Where am I going to be sent next? But basically for me, I got sent a plane ticket, and I was going to sign a contract when I got up to Tri-City, Washington, actually Pasco, Washington, for the Tri-City Dust Devils. And I just showed up, and I said, where's the manager? Ron Gideon was his name. And he was sitting in the coach's office. And I said, hey, my name is Jud Thigpen. I'm here to be your center fielder or play outfield for you. He's like, who? Who are you? And I was like, look, I flew all the way from Mississippi. I'm supposed to sign a contract. I'm here to play baseball. We kind of laughed about it because he was messing with me. But that's the way it is. You really don't know. You go and the minor league system, like one day you go for 4 for 4, you think they might shoot you up to Double-A or something. And then you go 0 for 4, hey, you're looking over your shoulder at the guy behind you. He might get that bat. So it's a tough life, and I think one of the biggest things that people get confused minor league baseball with is the amount these guys make. I mean, of course, the signing bonuses, but that's only up to a limit. Like you said, all the different levels of the draft. I mean, you're making in rookie ball $800 a month, and still trying to pay for your own place and stuff like that. So it's not all that glamorous, but it is that pinnacle of reaching the big leagues that is so great, which that I would never trade anything for. And hopefully that's something for this league, for the Rox, now being a collegiate league, that we can try to put in, their eyes of what the future can hold for them and get them to that point. And I would love to see some guys, I mean, from the Rox Collegiate League get drafted, go to the, make it to the big leagues.
Do you think that given your experiences, you can help ease them through that process a little bit?
I 100% do. And the thing that I like to do is I try to make this kind of like a minor league style. I do realize they're college kids, and you definitely have more pitch count rules and stuff like that, and they are in college, so there are a lot of things that maybe they're still learning that maybe a pro guy for like 4 or 5 years would know. But I try to make it like our workout, stuff like that. I try to give them the minor league experience, and hopefully that will pay off. In the future. I know every one of these guys is not going to make sign somewhere, but it'll be good to go back to their college, and hopefully my job is just to get them better for their colleges. And if some of those guys get drafted or sign, I mean, it would make my day, and that's what I do it for.
Once again, we're chatting with Jud Thigpen, field manager for the 2013 Brockton Rox. Their home opener is this Saturday night at Campanelli Stadium. Let's talk about some of the opposition the Brockton Rox face in this Futures League. It seems like you guys are playing teams which mostly consist of collegiate players from around New England. You guys aren't going to Canada like the old Brockton Rox had to do occasionally. Tell us about the quality of baseball in terms of who they're playing.
It's getting better every year, and I know this is only my second year, but I know the first year I believe there was just a few teams in the FCBO, and now this is being their third year. We're back with 9 teams. I mean, even our roster, we feel like, I hate to use the word upgrades. Our team last year was great. The guys, every one of the guys that played for us, I still try to stay in contact with. This next group that we have, we do feel like, we have a little bit more talent because we've had more time to recruit, I guess you would call it, to kind of scout out players. Last year being the Brockton Rox first year in the league, the time frame was a lot shorter to get players. But Coach Ted Curley has done an excellent job of dealing with players and getting players here. And working with him has been great. And just the fact that I feel like we've upgraded our team in so many different positions. We're going to have a little bit more depth, is what I'm trying to say. And, I think the same thing speaks for the other teams in the league. The league's only getting stronger. So we went 30-23 last year. So to go 30-23 last year, we're going to have to play better baseball. That's the way I feel.
Once again, we're chatting with Jud Thigpen, field manager for the Brockton Rox here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. We're going to step aside for a quick break. Mike's going to join us with a local news update. You want to stick around for another segment?
Sure, I'd love to.
You're listening to the Metro South Morning Show here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. It's PM in the AM. Stay tuned. AM 1460, the new WXBR. Peter Czymbor and Mike Paiva still here with you on a Friday morning, chatting with Brockton Rox field manager Jud Thigpen. Mike, I see you flipping through a pocket schedule in the room across from me. Brockton Rox home opener this Saturday night at Campanelli Stadium. Any fun promotions jumping out through your eye, Mike?
That's what I'm checking out. I'm checking out the promotion schedule for 2013 for the Rox, and
I know you're a big fan of the Frisbee dog from years past.
I also love buy one, get ones. I love $2 drafts. All that stuff.
Anything
sounds
involving
fantastic.
alcohol, Mike's usually a fan of.
Of course.
So we'll have to check out a few games throughout the season at Campanelli Stadium. Once again, the home opener is this Saturday night, and we're chatting with Brockton Rox field manager Jud Thigpen, joining us live in studio right now. Jud, let's talk about the roster that the Brockton Rox have on the field for this season, consisting of a lot of local players from local colleges, or is it from all over the place?
Well, it's a combination of both. There is a rule in the league, and I would lie. I would lie if I told you what the rule was, but it's a percentage of the players in this league per team that have to be from the New England area, which is, I believe it's 50%. I don't know, 50%. I believe is what it is, which is not a bad thing at all. It's great. I mean, I'm from Mississippi, so I'm a big SEC fan down south. But I come up here, and actually, you'll see, and I'm not going back. I'm not hating on my Mississippi, my Southeastern Conference guys, but the New England guys have been the guys, last year who carried us. That was pretty fun, but it's good. It's like you were asking. It's a combination of both. We have a lot of guys, a lot of local guys, local colleges. We have guys from California, guys from Mississippi, Florida, anywhere from like South Carolina. But it's I would say a little over 50% is going to be New England area. But it's a good group of guys, and that already in 3 workouts we're gelling and we're bonding and getting to meet each other.
When it comes to scouting a player and kind of foreseeing what their future may be like as a baseball player, how difficult is it in the world of baseball? Because the more wear and tear these guys face from their bodies consistently playing, injuries come into play, you often find from one season to the next in independent minor league baseball, this certainly was the case. I don't follow college baseball as much, where you'd see a guy have a fantastic season. You're like, that's a guy you got to keep your eye on. Then the next year, it seemed like he had kind of petered out and wasn't really going anywhere. How difficult is it to find that diamond in the rough and foresee these guys' futures in an accurate sense?
It's something that I'm still learning. I'm actually doing a little associate scouting for the Colorado Rockies as we speak right now. So this is a good way into that, coaching this league. But to answer your question, I mean, it's kind of, you look for certain intangibles that maybe not are all physical. I mean, of course, you look for the body structure, and you look for the great arm or the tools, actually, the speed and stuff like that. But you also look for their attitude, the way they carry themselves, their work ethic, to say. But I mean, a good example is, I'll go back to a guy, he's in the big leagues now for the Oakland A's. His name was Seth Smith, and he hit 270 with 6 or 7 home runs his junior year, but he was taken in the second round by the Colorado Rockies. The next thing you know, he's in the big leagues in like 2 or 3 years. And so some scouts saw something in this guy, hitting 270 to pay him, this amount of money, and now he's, having a decent year with the A's this year. But, little thing, I don't want to say guesswork. You do your homework, you watch them play, and if, you're looking for that one thing that sticks out, to be honest. There's a lot of guys out there that have, the 5 tools, but maybe they're not all pluses. But if that one thing sticks out, like a great arm, or, you can't teach, you can work on arm strength, but if somebody's just popping 93, 95 off, you can't teach that. You can work and maybe strengthen it up a couple, but and a guy running a 6'4", 60, you can't really teach that. You can maybe try to tone it down, but and just the raw power, the sound of the bat, stuff like that are kind of crazy old school things. But that's what that as far as when I'm scouting, that's what I kind of look for. But getting the players here, what we do, Ted Curley, obviously, who has done a good bit of this recruiting, basically it's just trusting the coaches of who you're getting. Build a relationship with coaches, and you kind of trust them. Guys we've never even seen play are playing for us this year, and you just trust their coach. We're going to send you this kid. He can do this and do that. So this league is also is a lot about building a relationship with colleges and things of that nature.
When you put your roster together, do you have the ability to cut players, or is it something you can do, or how does that exactly work?
Well, we don't like cutting is something that I'd rather prefer for like a professional guy.
Sure.
If we carefully pick out the guys, and we don't put a lot of pressure on them. Like I said, we trust their coaches on what they can do, and the main thing that we that we could do, if they get hurt or something like that, then maybe we can say, hey buddy, you're hurt, your arm's hanging, you're not going to be able to play the field. Go home, get better for your collegiate season, things like that. But there's really not a cutting policy. And I promise you this, and this is where it gets more like the pro level. But it's just the way it is, to be blunt about it. If a kid's he comes in this league in the first month of the season, he's playing every day, and he's not hitting and he's not fielding, and you really have no choice, and you can call the coach, and the kid knows, he knows, you're hitting 130. As a manager, that's your job to fill in the spot. I mean, you have to balance getting all these guys at bats also with you want to win, and that's just the way it is. We're all competitors, and so that's something that's similar to the pro ball. But these guys definitely should not have pressure on them to perform. You want some pressure, but they don't need to go out and make an impression every single night. So there's a lot more leeway in a collegiate league, because it is a way for us to work with the colleges to get them better for their leagues. And it's so that as far as cutting, we don't cut, but we definitely we hold a high standard here in Brockton for our guys.
Once again, we're chatting with Brockton Rox field manager Jud Thigpen here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. I know you said you've only had a few brief workouts with your team thus far, heading into opening weekend this weekend. However, is there anyone that stands out, particularly anyone locally from within our listening demographic south of Boston?
Well, I mean, first of all, we have a few guys that are coming back that, like Brendan Doonan, who actually we might turn into a starting pitcher. He was one of our better guys out of the pen last year. Rob McCunney last year was leading our league, I think he was leading the league, leading our team for sure in home runs. He's back, and he's one of those guys that, you look at his college stats from this past year, and you kind of shake your head, and then you see him out here, hitting in workouts and stuff like that, and you're really impressed. There's a guy, Lorenzo Papa. He's got some pop. I don't, no pun intended, but he's hitting the ball out of the ballpark. We have a kid, Silva, that we just picked up, and as far as pitchers go, I mean, Our pen last year was amazing, I thought. We actually had the relief pitcher of the year, John Sheehan, who's actually in the Cape, and he's on a temp. We may be getting him back. We don't know, but guys like DJ Roach, and let's see, I'll just go through the list. I'm sitting here looking at it right now, like a Dylan Driscoll, Mike Bortolotti. He's going to be a good pitcher for us, but I mean, like I said, we're bringing Joe Fasano back, but I guess he's a New York guy. There's guys, like we got two guys from Wake Forest that are going to help us out, Garrett Kelly and the Curtis kid. But like I said, you see me looking right now with the rosters. I see faces and I see positions. I'm still learning names, but we've got some guys. I don't want to leave anybody out, but, I mean, just first impressions as a whole, our whole team, I know everybody would say this, but our workout today was supposed to take 2.5 hours. We knocked it out in 2 hours because everybody's on time. Everybody's, doing the right thing, moving the right spots the right way. And so that's something that I'm very impressed with.
Once again, we're chatting with Jud Thigpen, Brockton Rox field manager here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. Who's helping you out as far as your coaching staff is concerned?
Well, first of all, I would call it more than help. Ted Curley, who was actually Martha's Vineyard, he was the head coach, the field manager for Martha's Vineyard the first year this league was opened, and he was. I call him. I don't like to use the word assistant coach. We work together as a team, and we're bringing a guy in, Paul Coach, who actually lives in Beijing, China. He's from Philadelphia, but he helped us out a lot last year, and it's more than help. They throw the BP. They hit the fungo. We sit there as a group together, and we'll make out our own lineups and go from there. But it's they're great guys, and they've helped me a lot in the transition of playing and now to coaching. So it's great to have them. It's a great staff. I truly believe it's the best staff in this league. Not because of me, because of these two other guys that we have, and as a group, it's fun to come to work every day.
Once again, we're chatting with Jud Thigpen, manager for the Brockton Rox here on AM 1460 WXBR. Prior to becoming a manager and a coach, you were a player, as we documented earlier on in the program. What's the highest level you attained in a major league organization?
I was in AAA for the Colorado Springs Sky Sox, and I actually got 2 weeks in big league camp with the Rockies, so I got to play in some big league spring training games. But AAA, as far as regular season, was my highest level. So I got to face some big league pitchers. I hit a single, and Barry Bonds called it. That's my favorite story I like to say. But other than that, I got to AAA. So I played every rookie ball, A, AA, AAA, and independent. So I've been around the baseball world, to say the least.
Outside of that Barry Bonds anecdote you just briefly mentioned, any other superstars you rubbed up against in your times in a major league organization, whether they were on their way back up from rehabbing an injury or something like that?
Well, I have a funny 30-second story. I was in AA, and Troy Tulowitzki for the Rockies. We're both in AA. He's hitting the ball hard every time, and this is my second year in AA, so I feel like I'm a veteran. So I go up to Troy, and I'm like, "Hey, Tulo, hey, just hang in there, buddy. You're gonna be all right. You'll make it. Just don't, keep your head up." And next thing you know, he signed like a multi-million-dollar contract a few years ago, and here I am, getting sent to Indy Ball the next year, and he's signing for a few multi-millions of dollars. So that's kind of funny. I always look back at me trying to give him advice, and now he's a potential MVP every year now in the National League. So that's kind of funny. But there's stories like that all over that I love to tell. But like Steve Delabar from the Brockton Rox, who's now with the Blue Jays, tearing it up. It's great. It's great to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there were guys from the independent league who would go on to make the major leagues. I think the best story of a guy going from the independents to the majors was Kevin Millar.
Oh, yeah.
I think he went from the independents to the majors as a replacement player during that 94 strike, then went back down, worked his way back up. But because of that one stint he had as a replacement player, not in the Players Union to this day, I think they hold it against him. Maybe that's the case.
You can't get him on the video games.
You can't get him on the video games. You got
to create him.
You got to create him. Have you done that?
Oh, over and over. I even have the batting stance down.
Once again, we're chatting with Jud Thigpen here on AM 1460, the new WXBR Brockton Rox manager. Where do you see your baseball life playing out from here on out?
Well, hopefully, I took this job. First of all, it was an honor to take it. I wanted to get into coaching. Was not expecting it at all. Right now, I'm working to be either a professional scout full time, or to hopefully this can carry on in the big league organization. But for right now, I love being the Rox manager. Every day that's my call. That I take pride in it, and it is a fun thing for 3 months out of the season. But scouting, and had a couple of offers or a couple of interviews for hitting coach jobs with the Rockies. So things like being the manager of the Rox can really propel you, and that's one of the main reasons I took it. But I didn't realize how much fun I would have doing this, and how good everybody treats you. And it's a great thing to be a part of, the Brockton Rox.
Well, once again, Brockton Rox baseball kicks off this Saturday night. Is its home opener at Campanelli Stadium. People can check out BrocktonRox.com for more information on when and where they'll be playing throughout the season. Jud, before I let you go, any final words for our listeners in regards to Brockton Rox 2013 baseball kicking off this weekend?
Hey, we just love when you come out, fans. We love when the fans are filling up the stands. The guys, it's funny to watch them get nervous and get pumped up. I get nervous, and the atmosphere that this place can bring. I've seen it when I played here. I've seen it, last year when I was managing, and it's just what the fans and what the people of Brockton actually can bring out to the stadium. I promise you, I've played in a lot of different places. There's not a lot of places like it here. Don't take it for granted. You have this beautiful stadium. These guys are going to play hard for you every single day. Whether you're a casual fan or you love the game of baseball, it's a good atmosphere. It's fun for all ages, and it's something that I love doing, and I would not be here, and I mean that 100%.
Well, Jud, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. We'll have to do this again before the season's out.
Would love to, anytime.
That's Jud Thigpen, Brockton Rox manager, joining us here on AM 1460. The new WXBR Rox baseball kicks off at Campanelli Stadium Saturday night. Make sure you check that out. You're listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. Peter Czymbor and Mike Paiva here with you. We're going to step aside for a quick breather. Mike Paiva is going to provide you with a local news update. Stick with us. More show to come.